You look gorgeous.
Thank you. Hello, Celia.
Hi.
We are recording now. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me on your interview.
You're one of my favorite people, and I'm so excited to interview you, and I can't wait to start. First, I wanted to discuss about you. Tell us a little bit about you, who you are, and all that fun stuff.
Well, I am a trainer on the West Coast. I've been in the industry since 2000. I want to say 2009, maybe 2008. I started my career early in supplements. So I started off at a GNC, started working in supplements, helping people just feel better, get healthy. And, we had all different products. And I literally would spend the majority of my day there researching the products, researching what's inside the products, researching, ingredients. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with helping people. I fell in love with customers coming back telling me that they, had a life-changing experience, that they felt better, that they were able to, finally feel good again. And so it inspired me to go back into the industry and get certified as a trainer, nutrition coach, all these different things. So I went back and I decided to do my fitness nutrition specialist, corrective exercise specialist. I got specialization so that I could help people to live their best. So that was really my mission. And so the cool part about that is over the years, I've met so many great people. But what's really awesome is I still get Christmas cards to this day from my customers who met me when I was like 16, 17. So to that people have followed me through and through all the companies I've been with. I was with Complete Nutrition as a manager back in the day in the Twin Cities. And when their stores went under, I ended up going back to GNC for a short amount of time as I trained at LA Fitness. And I really built my database so much that people would follow me from company to company. So I think that really says something. And so when I went into doing training, I really grew as a trainer, did a lot of self-development, lots of personal development, and started getting more into coaching people on how to live, not only a clean, better lifestyle, but also how to live a better life as a person, as a human.
That's definitely why I'm interviewing you, because whenever I will reach out to you on my needs on weight management or whatever, the first thing that you wanted to make sure that I will get is not only awesome customer service. I actually have something to show you, but I'll show it to you later so you will feel kind of, but that part of self-love and that mindset that we women sometimes we get, and we get frustrated, or we get, we are so hard on ourselves, and every time that I will say something, you will make sure that I will use that mindset right away. So I will always remember that, and that's what I think that is lacking right now, even in the health and the fitness business. So let me ask you some questions now that we are here.
Yeah.
Since you already told us you've been since 16 in the health and sport business and the fitness.
Yeah. So I got started a lot earlier. So when I was actually in beginning of, in school, I was always very athletic, played a lot of sports, soccer, softball. And then in high school, I got really into it and started playing, soccer, softball at a more competitive level, and knew that taking care of myself, my health, was so important. So that's really kind of piqued my interest on nutrition. I had some great coaches throughout school. They were top, soccer players, rugby players. I played rugby, and they really coached me on, self-development. They also coached me on like mindset training. They coached me on taking care of my body from the inside out. And those coaches really, I think are the ones who really helped me change, a lot with my own life. And it kind of like developed that spark in me where I decided to, I could do better, I could get better, I could be better. But really it comes back to, definitely like the nutrition part of it. All of that is so crucial, so key. So I actually got started a lot earlier, but my official going into it was when I was 16.
That's awesome. I'm going to ask you a question about what would you tell like a 16-year-old that you hear so many sad stories of depressions for little girls that they should not even think about, this kind of thing. And what helped you whenever you were in that age to, for instance, first of all, what would you tell your 15-year-old at that time? Or someone that is looking at you and say, well, Sally, what can I do as a 15-year-old? Why fitness and health is so important, and specifically self-love?
Yeah, I mean, I went through, when I was younger, I actually went through like a lot of depression, anxiety and depression. And going back on it, I think that it could have been reversed if had I been in a better environment and had I been, you know, had a, I wouldn't say more supportive family, because that's not the case, but if I had a stronger backbone of a family, and if I had, you know, more self-love, more self-development, I think I would have gotten through it a lot easier. I had to do a lot on my own, and I've always been a very independent person, so I'm not blaming my family by any means, but I don't think they knew how to deal with it back then. You know, they weren't very, I don't know the right words, but they weren't very like made for helping kids develop. Like they were very much, they had their own thing going on. So it was a lot on myself to take care and develop myself. So I think that, you know, looking back on it, like if I were to say, you know, something to the younger generation is, don't focus on what everyone else thinks. Focus on yourself. Focus on developing your personality. Focus on developing your strengths. Focus on your strengths. Don't look at your weaknesses. You know, don't look at your acne. Don't look at you're too skinny. You know, stop with the labels. Get those labels out of here. Focus on what makes you strong, and don't mind what doesn't make you strong. You know, don't focus on the labels society puts on you, because those will create glass boxes around you that you'll have to shatter out of later. So I think going back on it, that's what I would say to people is, you know, really focus on you. What do you want out of life? Why are you here? You know, why did God or the universe put you here? And then really, really think on that. You know, what is my greater purpose? Because when you have purpose, you aren't swayed by the craziness of the outside world. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Recently I found out there was two young people that I know personally, not personally, but through friends, and that they were trying to commit suicide. And I just cannot imagine some cannot be solved. And it's in the bullying, you always hear these horrible stories of bullies. So thank you so much for that. I know that you do also fitness competitions.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to ask you, I mean, if I'm in the fitness competitions, I will have the most doubts and horrible thoughts of myself, even if
Oh, please.
I feel like I have a beautiful hair or whatever, I will think that it's not. So how you deal with like not only competitions like that, but an everyday, you know, because this fitness world is very competitive, and so how you deal with things like that for your self-confidence and, you know, in general?
I think it's really easy to get comparaitis, where you look at someone else and you're like, oh my gosh, she has such beautiful brown hair, or she has such beautiful eyes, and want that for yourself. I think it's really easy, especially with body image, to look at someone else and want that body, you know, to have that envy, to have that jealousy. And I think that the most important thing when you're going into one of those competitions is to be sound in your own body, you know, really be comfortable and confident with yourself, you know, at any weight that you are, at any size that you are, at any, you know, like when I rebounded, when I went off my last competition, I, you know, 20 pounds, but I was fine with it. I knew that it was season, you know, you gotta know your seasons, you gotta know yourself, you gotta know that you're pushing yourself to a breaking point, like you're literally getting right up to that edge. But you also gotta know, like, you gotta love yourself through and through, right? So like, you gotta know that when you're in a situation like that, when you're on stage with all these beautiful women, they are beautiful just like you. So it's looking at it as appreciation versus jealousy, envy. We're looking at someone else's body and appreciating the artwork that they did to make that body, versus saying, you know, I could have come in tighter, I could have come in leaner, and beat yourself up over it. It's important to look at those people and say, you know what? She did some hard, I don't know if I can cuss on here, but some hard fucking work. And I did too. And congratulate yourself on that, and know that you can do better. You can always do better. We all can always do better. But to know that, to love yourself where you're at, to know that you came in the best you could, really putting forth the effort to really come in the best you could, but also loving yourself, knowing like, hey, I did what I could. I made it to the gym at 4 a.m. How many other people are out there making it to the gym at 4 a.m.? I drank all my water. I drank 10 of these bad boys a day. Like other people aren't doing this, and you are. So you need to congratulate yourself. You need to pat yourself on the back and say, hey, like, you know, I may not have won, or if you did, congratulations, but you need to say to yourself, like, no matter what happens tomorrow, I did everything I could and I love myself regardless of the outcomes.
Oh my gosh, Celia, that's why you're one of my favorite humans alive. Because it's so true. I mean, I wouldn't be like, if I go on stage and you have those beautiful women around, but nobody knows like the effort and the sacrifices and the going to the gym at 4 a.m. So I think that's really amazing, because we always so quick to see somebody else instead of seeing ourselves. So thank you for that. So tell me, as a woman in the health industry, what are the things that we should avoid and what are the things that we should follow, do you think? As far as, for instance, there's so many people that are telling you what to eat and drink and whatever. What do you think in your experience, something that we should completely avoid? And
so I'm a big science nerd. So I always say stick with science, you know, stick with how everyone's body's different. So when you hear all these different, you know, this diet, that diet, find what works best for you. But here's the thing, is that you're going to hear a ton of stuff from all over. But the thing is when you find out what works for you through trial and error by yourself, like your friend can be like, oh my God, this diet's amazing. And like you guys do the diet together, but maybe her body type's different than yours. So things to avoid, I would say avoid comparing yourself to others. Avoid comparing your progress to others, because not everyone loses weight the same amount of time as someone else. You know, I've seen people lose weight in 2 weeks. I've seen people lose weight in 6 weeks. I've seen people not lose weight for freaking like 3 months. Like it's all in your timing, right? So it's all what you can do. So as long as you're putting in the effort, I think what the best thing you can do, like a to-do, is to track your progress, track your goals, track your little accomplishments, you know, like things that you did that were good, you know, non-scale victories. Like I was able to wear my Lululemon pants to the gym today and feel really comfortable and confident. That is a victory. So I think when you start looking at the victories and being grateful and showing gratitude for small things that are happening, or for, you know, the things that you start to notice that are different, you're going to have a different outlook on everything. You're going to notice that when you put forth that positive, grateful energy, you're going to start to notice your body's going to shape up a lot quicker. Your life is going to start to come together a lot better than if you were to get down on yourself. Stop getting down on yourself, women. Like, you guys are beautiful the way you are, whether you're a size 32, whether you're a size 6, whether you're a size 0. It doesn't matter what size you are. It matters on the inside. Who are you on the inside? If you are of integrity, of love, of light, then you should be totally happy, totally confident in the skin you're in. There's no reason why we should shame another, why we should, you know, shame ourselves. I think that's really where people go wrong when they're on these journeys. They tend to shame themselves and outwardly project that onto other people. And I think that, you know, when you get into that zone of really taking care of yourself and really like, did I drink my water today, or am I just being a crabby a-hole? Like, you need to look at it and be like, okay, this is what makes me happy, and then do that over and over and over again, as long as it's not disruptive, or, I mean, as long as it's not destructive. Disruptive is good, that's a different terminology, but as long as it's not destructive to yourself or others, keep doing that over and over and over again until you get to that point where you're at that next level, and then just go up from there. So building yourself at little increments, scalable increments, is going to be a really big thing. I hope that answer your question.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. What would be like something that you recommend for us women before we start like a diet routine or an exercise routine? What is the mindset that you think that we should have and before we start, so we can actually accomplish our goals and fitness goals?
This one actually is very, I read that question. I was like, wow, this really rings deep, because I had a client who was suffering from depression. She was suffering from anxiety, and she was suffering from an eating disorder because of all that stress on her, because she was abused as a kid. And it broke my heart, but we really, you know, I noticed she wasn't making progress in her goal. And I was like, you're emotionally eating. I knew it. I'm very intuitive. I'm very in touch with my clients. Like, you're emotionally eating. What's going on? Let's talk about it. Give me a call, talk. And we got to the bottom of it. And we realized that she was eating as a reward to herself, and then she was binging and purging. So we had we had to control first. We had to conquer this inner demon, if you say. Like, we had to conquer this destructive, self-destructive pattern first, because a lot of times before we go on these journeys, like, but a lot of times when we're on these journeys, there's something that got us to the point we're at. There's something that got us to the unhappy point that we were at. So it's about finding what exactly, pinpointing exactly what got us there. Because let me tell you, you could go on the best diet, you could go on the best journey, but if something's not right here, if something's not right up here, you're gonna fail. And I mean, I hate saying that, but it's so true. The thing is, we're going to rebound to old patterns, old habits, if we don't fix what is originally going on down inside.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's totally true. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. That's like something that a lot of women deal with it. I mean, growing up.
That we should really, before we start anything, because I'm one of those that have tried 300 things, but I think that first, I need to find out what are the things that have not worked for me, and see if there's a overlaid situation maybe that is not allowing me to, because I've been successful before. So thank you for that. Tell me something. Which one is the biggest concern that since you're 16? What is the biggest concerns that you think the women is facing as far as body image or anything that you think, especially health-wise, that you would like to hopefully eliminate? If you have a little
that's a tricky one. I think, you know, a lot of it, I think, is I'm all for healthy, clean eating, and I know that people can change their lives through healthy, clean eating, you know, switching to organic, switching to non-toxic. One thing I want to see the industry change in is these artificial bullshit products. I want to see those taken off the market. I want to see artificial sweeteners banned. I think it starts with our food system, and then it comes on to us. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's higher level than even us. Why are they selling, you know, Cheetos to kids? Why is that in lunchrooms? Like, I would like to see that change, because the thing is, body image comes from us being unhappy on a lower level, on a layer that we can't quite get to. And so if we're able to teach kids healthy habits at a young age, if we're able to sustain those as adults, we will be having these issues, you know, like anorexia, bulimia, all those things come from a hatred or like of I'm not good enough. But the thing is the food that we're feeding kids these days is setting us up for failure, because it's toxic food that goes into the brain. It causes chemical reactions in the brain. If we can just create good gut health, good brain health, I think we'll start to see a big shift and change in food.
Absolutely.
So like when we switched to organic food, you know, I grew up on an organic diet. My mom was really big on that. I mean, if she did one thing right, that was definitely it. But she had us grow up on an organic diet because she saw all the scariness out there, you know, with the GMOs and all of that before it was even. She was very progressive. And so when I see that in young kids nowadays, it makes me want to smack some food out of the hands, you know, like of the grown-ups feeding it to these kids, because I think that's really where it starts, is you're teaching these kids bad habits, and then they feel guilty, and in turn it creates, you know, disorders, and it creates neurological issues that we can prevent from just feeding our kids better food.
So you drink the unicorn frappe thingy?
I used to be far away from that, but I was actually at Starbucks that day, and I saw, just alone sitting there, we were there for about 4 hours, I saw about 12 people order it. So I was just like, ooh.
It's crazy. It's crazy. How can people don't see that? It's like so terrible. Anyways, that's another topic. I'm sorry. Tell me, why do you think self-love is important for even your business, and why?
Okay, so here's one thing that I will say, as an entrepreneur, as a fitness entrepreneur, I mean, you're an entrepreneur, we all have, you know, as women entrepreneurs, we have a lot more stress on us than I would say a male entrepreneur. There's a lot more stigma, there's a lot more out there. I think that's really where we got to put our self-care, self-love into, because if we're not focused on us, if we're not taking care of ourselves, we're going to have a breakdown. We're going to hit a wall where we're going to have a meltdown, you know? So I think it's really important for us to take time to meditate, to go to yoga, to eat healthy, to take care of ourselves, you know, even if it's going to get a massage, go get yourself a massage, be that boss babe and go get yourself a massage. Take care of yourself. You know, like I think a lot of times we overlook ourselves because we're so busy taking care of everyone else that we think we don't deserve it, or we think it's just, you know, I'm too busy. I can't do it. That is what's going to put us into a road for destruction if we don't get out of ourselves and we realize, hey, you know, you come first. You got to put on your life best before you can put on others. So I think by taking care of ourselves, you know, by loving ourselves, nurturing ourselves, you know, self-developing, doing yoga, whatever way you release, you know, maybe it's having a glass of wine and taking a bubble bath. Maybe it's going skydiving. You know, everyone has their different ways of mentally decompressing. For me personally, I love to meditate. It really helps me to just unwind. I'm a very high energy, go person. And like when you guys see me on lives, when you see my interviews, when you see me like anywhere, I'm always giving so much energy. But then afterwards, I kind of get a little drained and I kind of need to decompress before I go into the next thing. So for me, it's definitely mentally unwinding. Whereas like some of my clients, they need like that revving up, you know, they need an action movie, or they just need something to like give them that revving up. And I think that's where, you know, a lot of times when people are in this industry, when they're working a high pressure job, or, you know, when you're a lady boss, you can turn to, you know, coffee addiction, wine addiction, whatever, because you're trying to self-medicate something that you can do just on finding your own self-love. You know, you can find yoga, you can find anything that is going to take that off. So I think that when you find, when you find an activity you love to do, make sure you do it. Put it in your calendar. Even if you have only an hour, make sure you put it in your calendar for a couple of times a week, and you're gonna start to notice a shift in your productivity levels. Even though you're taking that hour out, you're giving that time to yourself, and really give it to yourself. Turn your phone off. Don't answer any messages. Just really give yourself that full hour and decompress.
Absolutely. Yeah, because even you don't think about it, but people will know. Like, for instance, you're on live videos all the time, and if you did not sleep for you know, a week, not well, it's not going to be the same energy, and one day you're going to collapse. So thank you for that.
I'm trying to move out of the sun.
No, it's fine. Do you recommend any books or documentaries or anything to help us see ourselves and look ourselves differently?
Yes, there's so many good ones out there. I mean, I could even give you like my Audible playlist, but I love Tony Robbins. I'm a big fan of, what is her name? She does You Are a Badass. That is a really good book.
Jen Cisneros.
Yes, and then our girl, what's our girl's name? Kara. Amazing. You know, there's so many good authors out there, and I think that it's kind of picking and choosing who you fit in with, like who your spirit animal, if I may, but who's your spirit animal? Who talks to you? Like, I know you're a big Kara fan.
Yeah.
I'm Kara too, but like I need someone to be tough on me. So me, like my style is more like Grant Cardone, or, you know, I really feed into that because I need someone to be tough on me. But at the same time, like, that You Are a Badass book is, I think that is like one of the best books for women to read. Let me actually grab 1 second. I'm gonna bring you guys over here real quick. There's another book. She has a couple books. Okay, so I'm back. She has a couple books, but this book right here, The Secrets of Women, this is by Barbara Stanny. Great author. I mean, great author.
I love that book.
I think she has what, 4 books, 3 books, something like that.
Yes.
She's amazing. I mean, she really breaks it down. Like, I think as women, we can be so hard on ourselves, and we can really like put so much strain on ourselves, and yet we feel like we're not worth it. We're not worthy of making more money. We're not worthy of, you know, owning a company. We're not worthy of, you know, being fit. We're not worthy of owning the body of our dreams. And the thing is, we're worthy of all of it. You don't have to choose anymore. This is your time, baby, right? So I think that when we look to it, when we look at, you know, inspirational leaders like this and thought leaders, it gives us a vision and a hope so that we can be better too. I think a lot of times as women, I'm sorry, but a lot of times there's a lot of women out there who are very catty, and they want to put women into boxes, and they want to keep women back. But the more we empower other women, the more we uplift other women, the greater our world's going to be, because women rule the world, like Beyonce says. You know, who runs the world? Girls. But like the thing is I think that the more we empower women, you know, the more we do things like this, interviews, you know, really, really lift women up and, you know, show them that they're worthy, you know, love you, do you, boo. Like, the more we're like entitled, you can have everything you want. You can be everything you want to be. There's no more like wishing and wanting. You can have it, you know, just go out there and grab it.
Yeah, you just have to take action of it.
Absolutely.
Just be the first stare. I always say that. Just look at the first stare. You don't have to look at you don't have to look at the whole stare, but just the first step.
And I do have to admit, you said, who's your favorite authors? I am writing a book. This is very on the DL, which it won't be anymore. But I'm working on writing a book right now. It will be published hopefully in summer. So
excited.
Super exciting. So when that launches, I would love to like send you the link, free ebook, you know, so that you can have a copy of it, or I might even sign it over to you, because I truly believe in, I want to spread the word and I want to empower other women, because there's so many women out there who need this, you know, they need to be uplifted, and nothing more would make me happy in the world than to help every single person through.
Absolutely. There's some, I always say this, if you have no idea the impact that you can get on somebody else, but the empowerment of, to empower somebody else will last forever. Like a woman's confidence can lead the world and lead anything, can change everything. And I always say this, and you probably heard me before, but most of the big changes to goodness have made by women, like the civil right movements, or now the march. I mean, it's just, we just have to have the courage to do it and take those fears out of your mind. But anyways, I'm so excited about your book. You already know that we are soul sisters on books wise. I think we have read every single book, you know, like, you know, the same thing. And I will stop you. Remember, I will stop you in your videos. I'm glad I did that book. Oh my goodness. But anyways,
I love it.
What will be your no's that you do on your daily routine? And you're absolutely must, of course.
Okay, so no negativity. There's a no negativity vibe in my household. So anytime there's, you know, we're very big on speaking into existence. So anything you say, you know, I always watch it and I'm very mindful of what I'm putting out there, right? So for me, no's would be negativity. That's like the big no. But for doing things, you know, every single day, always like, I guess this is kind of hard, but always trying to eat clean, always trying to eat healthy, you know, reward yourself once in a while. But the thing is food should be empowering. So we do like acai bowls and stuff like that when we're looking for like a treat. But really the do's, I'm very boring lately. Like all I'm doing, like the boardroom, I've been in here for 5 days. Like I'm like locked up, you know, but we're very focused. So we do massive action. Anytime we have big goals, you know, it's always, we're very relentless with what we do and where our intentions are and what we're trying to achieve. So I think really the do is, you know, always be positive, always impact, always aim to, you know, do better than you did yesterday or do better than you thought you could do today. And then for the no's, it's really just no negativity, you know, no drama, no BS, no negativity. And also like no being messy. I think that, you know, when you walk into someone's house and you see, you know, crap everywhere, it's kind of, it clutters your personal space. And I think you would probably know this more than anything. Like when you're in a place that's beautiful, you feel uplifted, you know, like you're very spiritual. I connect on that level, but like you walk into a place that's beautiful, you know, lots of sunlight, lots of, you know, plants maybe or something like that, you're going to feel a lot better. So I think for us, it's also like no putting stuff all over the place. You know, if you have something out and about, clean it up. But that's exactly what you meant. I don't know, but is that kind of like what you meant by that? Yeah. Okay. Oh, also, every single morning we do a gratitude journal. So before I even check my phone, I roll out of bed. Sometimes I slither out of my bed if I'm really tired. I go and I get like a tria, and then I do my gratitude journal. So I just sit there and I write out everything I'm grateful for, but I also write out what I want into existence. So things that have not yet happened, I manifest those through writing in my journal every morning. So I think it's very powerful to do that. I think a lot of people don't take the time to do it, and it takes all of 5 minutes, but it makes all the difference. So before you even check your phone, before you even get into the day, spend 5 minutes with yourself and really get real with yourself about what you want, where you're going, and create your future.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. And that brings me another question, but because not every time is going to be flowers and can be positive. What do you do to shift your mind whenever you facing with challenges? I have my rule, for instance, that I will say, okay, I give until the end of the day to be upset about this deal and move on. What do you do to?
For me, it's very boom, boom, boom. So I've had to train myself to be very like figure it out and then move on. So what I do is when something pops up, if there's drama in the organization, if there's something that's not going on, that's, if it's just there's something an upset or if there's a problem, we handle it. Like literally, we isolate it, handle it, and then from there move on. Like we make sure it's all handled. There's no harsh feelings, and then we move on from there. But the thing,
So don't take it personal. And
yeah,
just
never take it personal. I'm very much like, if you come to me with an issue, I'm very logical. Like I figure it out. I'm not very emotional when it comes to issues. And this sometimes can actually backfire on me is because I treat everything, I'm very business oriented. So when things get in the way, I'm like, listen, I know we all have problems. We all have BS in our lives. Let's figure it out and let's move on. So if you're sitting there and you're crying in front of me, chances are I'll give you a hug and I'll say, okay, now let's get back to business. It's not that I'm heartless. It's just that we have a bigger picture. So when things are happening, around you, you can't give energy to every single thing, especially if it's draining. So you can be very picky and choosy about where you spend your energy. And I think the more people grow, the more they realize this is that you only have, this many minutes in a day. So how are you spending those unrefundable minutes? Are you giving them to people, just freely? Are you just giving them to people's problems? How are you spending those unrefundable minutes and really, 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 really focusing on how you can change things around?
On the goal.
Yeah.
So focus on the goal. That's actually really awesome. All right. I think that's all the questions I have for you. Where we can find you, Celia, and I'm so excited about your book. I'm definitely going to get it. But tell us where we can find you if we want to see your business and what you do and follow you, because you're, like I said, I always say this, Celia is one of the most inspirational women that I follow all the time. Even that I remember that even if I purchase you something, you will remember. You care so much for your clients and the people around you. You even remember my allergies. You remember when I got it. I mean, it's
pineapple baby.
Yeah.
The thing is, I know because you're one of my favorite clients. You honestly are such. I mean, I feel like we have a lot.
Can you say that louder?
You're one of my clients. But I just feel like I truly want to connect with people and get to know them. And you're right. I mean, it is about creating relationships versus just sales. I mean, to me, it's never going to be just sales. It's always these people are my family. When you come into my world, you're my family, and I treat you like family, and I take care of you like family because. In all actuality, my people will always be my people. So I love for you the same that if you're a good person, you have integrity, you're positive, I will always be there for you. I'll always be your cheerleader. And where you can find me right now is just on Facebook, but we will be launching a new website coming up soon. So working on things in the mix. But as of right now, Celia Cavalli on Facebook. I do not have a public profile, I don't have a public figure page. I just have my personal profile. So follow me if you must, but in the future things will be changing, so just make sure to follow me. I'll be always updating that page. You can always find me on that page. You can always see what I'm doing, what I'm up to, and I do have it's a private health group, so if you're not part of that and you'd like to be part of that, please let me know. I do carry my products in there. I do coaching in there, so anything you need, we're really here to cater to you. So I work with my sister. We work full-time in this, and whatever you guys need, you're always family when you come to me. So literally just find me on Facebook, stalk me on Facebook. I'll probably stalk you back, and let's be friends.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Before we go, I told you that I have something that I wanted to share because I don't think nobody have done this before, and this is how special you are. Every time that I will get a product from you or anything, I will receive a sweet card of thank you. And the cool thing is, you didn't even have to do that, and it has stickers. I don't know. Let me make sure that everybody can see it. But those are the things that makes you very special, and I am very honored. I'm getting emotional because sometimes you don't think that you're alone or whatever, but in reality, people like you are the ones that make the difference in this world, and I'm honored to be your friend. And thank you so much for this interview, because one day when you are, yeah, I'm getting so emotional. But and the same thing whenever you see somebody, like I said before, you say, oh, well, there's no way I have these things in common. But after a while looking at, following you, we have so much things in common. So instead of like criticizing or judging or seeing the difference, I think we can change as a community and a tribe of women if we can see actually our similar interests. So thank you so much. And like I said, Celia will take care of you on anything that you need health-wise. And thank you again for everything.
I love that. I just want to touch base because I'm like, this is so true, is when you say like, seeing women to women, like we all have something special to give. And I think the thing is that you think you don't have a lot in common with someone, but you do. I really think that we are all so close, like in nature. Have you ever heard of like the 6 people of separation? Like,
absolutely.
I feel like we're all spiritually connected. We're all spiritual human beings. And whenever you're able to vibe with someone, or you'll always find something, even someone you can't stand, you'll eventually, if you spend enough time with them, you'll find something.
You'll find so much in common.
And the thing is we can bond on that level. So there's so many things out there. Like I urge you guys, if you're watching this, try and go out there and just bond with people. Like literally open your heart to people, and you'll notice that like the more open you are, people will drop their guard and start to show you the real them as well. And you'll start to bond on a commonality. So I didn't mean to like totally divert, but I'm just saying like what you said is so true. So giving people more of a chance, and even if they look like you guys have nothing in common, chances are you probably have a lot more in common than you thought.
Absolutely. Like I said, like when I would start following, I mean, you will talk things that I would not know, but the things that you will talk, that the ones that resonate for me are, for instance, all the books that you read, I read them, for instance. And even, like I said, there's so many things that we have so much in common, and yet we're from a different, states and all this stuff, culture. But anyways, I really thank you for this interview, and yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video too, to not only tell people that beauty and fitness and everything it starts from inside. It's not coming from outside. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.